Hello, listeners. This is Lee Price.
This is Will Ford from Football 365.
And you're listening smartly to At the Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast, although I would describe it as the Chelsea FC podcast.
Magical from Eden Hazard. Kai Havertz in the Champions League final. Ivanovic! Yes. In the middle, it's just behind him. But it's tapped in by Hakim. Matic with the ball driver. Matic takes the net off. Hat-trick hero. Cole Palmer wins an epic, sensational game.
It's time for another episode of At the Bridge Pod, your number one Chelsea FC podcast. Coming up on this episode, get your tuxedos on, your speech is ready, because it's time for our end of season awards.
Oh, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of At the Bridge Pod. And I am joined in a virtual room filled with all the lot. Oh, yes, we have every single one. I'm not even going to introduce the other two because, listeners, he's back. Burf is back on the pod. Burf, you have been missed because we've had a lot of love and support from various forms of our social media with listeners sending in messages, and we have passed as many as we could on to yourself. Yeah, welcome back, friend.
No, thank you. It's good to be back, and I have missed you. Like I've missed some of the positivity and some of the negativity from some people on this podcast. I won't mention any names, but
that news
I'm sure you know who you are. Yeah, and I've got scouts. I've got my sources. So yeah, but no, it is really good to be back, and it's good to hear your boys' voices anyway. So
on the note of introductions, I've got a new sound drop for Chris because he's been getting a lot lately. So this is his little introduction.
Each time when I come here, I am abused.
But we try to look after him, but apparently he comes on the show and then all the comments are all just aim for him. A lot of people do love his negativity. We love him. Chris, how are you doing?
I'm all right.
Sweet.
We didn't have a game, did we?
He started. Oh, Ollie, you've been touring. How's that been like?
It's been really nice. I'm back now. I'm back on terra firma. I have not slept in 48 hours. So whatever you're going to get out of me today, I have no idea.
Wow.
Yeah, so looking forward
let's
to
hope you don't say something stupid, Ollie.
Oh, yeah. Lord knows I'm renowned for never
Ollie,
doing
Chris?
that.
Do you know Ollie, Chris?
Oh, my
yeah.
word. Some shots fired. What was our moments of the weekend? Because we are late. We're Tuesday. That's thrown some people all the way out there.
I got out the escape room.
Yay! We've got
some
Shevva
people will be
shout-outs
gutted. Some people will be gutted about that.
Yeah.
I'm devastated personally, guys.
Can I just say I'll give the two shout-outs that we've got. KP said Chris went in the escape room. If you're stuck, shout Maresca 3 times. And El House said, Chris, be careful. The escape room might look a lot like Carrington. Sancho might let you out on the way back in.
That's brilliant.
Honestly, Maresca 3 times had me down. Oh my God. Oh, well.
Highlights from the weekend. I went to see the Toronto Blue Jays play.
Wow.
Baseball. That was pretty sick. I really enjoyed that. Also, while I was in Toronto, went up the CN Tower. If nobody's done that, that's really cool, worth doing. Yeah, done some cool stuff in Canada. Now, but happy to be back for sure. Stepped off the plane today into Wales, and I was like surprisingly happy to see Wales.
Oh, nice. Burf, what about yourself?
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, I haven't really done much like the past couple of weeks. But this week is like the first time I went out for a party with my mates and stuff like that. And I got out and about, and it was just nice to just let what's left of my hair down and just just see a few people.
Let your hair singular down.
Let my strand of hair down.
Oh my God!
But it was good, like honestly, it's like seeing your mates is so taken for granted. And like, even talking to you boys, like it's so nice just sometimes to talk to people and just like see your mates and talk to your mates. So that was my highlight anyway.
For sure.
Oh.
I was up at the Cracker Sparrows to go to the gym on Sunday morning.
I've never heard that saying before, by the way.
Cracker
Neither
Sparrows. The Sparrows were out. I was out. Oh, it was lovely. It was lovely.
Sounds like a multi-term, doesn't it? I saw a cracker sparrows the other day.
Sounds like some whiskey, like a really expensive whiskey.
Cracker Sparrows.
Yeah,
Served
Scottish
at the
whiskey.
Dog and Pheasant. Served at Dog and Pheasant. Weather was gorgeous. My white chocolate and raspberry cookies came out so well that I've kind of set a new standard to live up to. Like shit. My footballing highlight, though, I always bring one. It's a beautiful one, actually. It was seeing the tifo for Luis Enrique after the Champions League final win, and because I saw him grab someone threw a t-shirt, and I watched it with my girlfriend, and she was like, "Oh, I might bet that's something to do with his daughter," and I thought, "Oh, well, it might be," because no one else got a t-shirt, and then he wore it, and when I saw what the image was, oh man, I genuinely, I am happy to admit, I was quite emotional watching that. It was so, oh man, it was such a lovely moment, and. Yeah, everyone knows obviously the sad story behind Luis Enrique and his daughter who passed away, and it was just not because he's one of the most likable managers in the game. And I know people have their issues with PSG because of how they've become the behemoth they are, but I can't begrudge Luis Enrique winning the treble. I can't. It's what a great guy.
Great guy, and to be fair, what a team as well.
Yeah.
I mean, they only just beat Inter Milan.
It was close.
Only just.
It
Yeah,
was close. But I
Great
think,
head
like,
of hair as well, doesn't he, Burf?
Is he like? Oh bloody hell! Shots
That's
fired.
I'm gonna have another break again.
Well, we'll go to Shevva shoutouts. We'll go straight for that. We've already had two because Chris has had his. 4-bit, I was missing the couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat. Felt like a shout out, laughing my head off on route to work. Cheers, host. Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, that became a thing. People who might be joining the show for the first time was like, what does he mean by host? Yeah, someone kept referring to me as host. Oh, the host. I was like, I have a name.
It's
Anyway,
so funny. It makes me laugh so much. They're like Chris and Burf and Ollie and host.
The host.
The host.
Nico, Chris, love your realistic take. Our standards have plummeted, and it's something that needs to be acknowledged. Definitely agree that the celebration was way too much and just shows what has happened to our dear club. We win, we don't throw parties for fourth. All right. James, Sancho being in none of your winners list is a robbery. He was outstanding on Wednesday. It was a good goal.
He was all right. He went outstanding.
The goal
that's
was
ridiculous.
really good.
Yeah.
The goal was really good.
Kind of moot now, isn't it?
Well, we'll touch
Didn't
on
really
that.
see him. Didn't really see him do anything else.
YC, Chris, don't listen to the critics, mate. You're absolutely spot on. It's like you're reading my mind week in, week out. And it's because we love the club more than anything else. We just have high standards. Keep rocking the pod, you legend. And another
Thank you
Chris,
very much.
Trent, could be Alexander Arnold. We don't know. Chris, do not change. Team, so grateful for your collective wisdom. Best Chelsea pod, another great season. I hope that means the season of the pod because we haven't had...
That's definitely Trent because he's on about his Real Madrid season there, I think.
I was going to say it. He just signed it off. Best Chelsea pod. By the way, I had a great season. I did.
Yeah. Enjoy Madrid, Trent.
Oh, we got some more. Zach, if you take Chris' logic on Delap, then I can imagine his thoughts of 2 years ago on the Parma signing based on his 0 goals, 1 assist in 2022-23. I think Chris was quite positive about Parma, if I remember right.
Yeah, but also Palmer was a unicorn.
He was
wasn't he?
realistic,
Exception
yeah.
doesn't always prove the rule.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ollie.
You're welcome, mate. I got you. I'm backing you. I'm in your corner.
Damn right. Jamali said, Chris is great. Favourite quote from him is...
It's not a real game.
Oh yes, Young
It's
Germ.
not.
This is this is my first season listening to the pod, and it's for sure one of, if not my favourite Chelsea pod. Mikey always knows how to keep things positive. I've got a name.
There you got
Yeah. Chris is
Good
refreshing
job,
to hear. Yeah, Chris is refreshing to hear with his brutal honesty, even if he's somewhat of a dick. Oh my god! Shout out
fair.
from California.
Yeah, that's just accurate, that one.
Oh my god. Muck found Chris Delap played on a team that created less than half of the chances we created. You have to factor that in. Yeah, that's fair. Aquaria, epic start of the pod. Ollie gave us highlights. Welcome back and hope you're enjoying your vacation. Chris, we stand with
thank you, mate.
True Bluesy finishes it off with kudos for your bravery reading negative comments and spending the time to explain. That alone puts this podcast above the rest. We're wondering if you would prefer if we signed Guacares or Rodrigo if given the chance to get one of them. Well, Rodrigo's not leaving. He's kind of told Real Madrid that. So you get Sophie's choice, but you've you've basically got one option. It's like this. There you go. It's Gyökeres. Oh, yeah, I thought reading the comments out, and because Chris is a great member of this team, and he's very much loved and respected, not by everybody, but enough people. It's only right. It's only right. So we had to do the reviews. We had to read them out, of course. And one final Shevva shout out. Talking of reviews, listener, you. Thank you, because we launched our end of season survey for the 24-25 campaign on Friday, and my word, we have had a record. We had over 50 responses. That is actually, some people might go, it's only 50. That is insane. Like, that is a lot of data we've had to read through.
Do you know how much we got last year, Mikey? Because it wasn't that many.
32, I think.
Yeah, so already blowing it out of the water.
And I love the fact there that Mikey, you are very much using the royal we there, aren't you?
Yeah.
Because you do it all. We do.
I was going through all the data. Like,
all.
Oh, thank you, ChatGPT, for putting it into a nice little document I could send it to. But yeah, it was
to be referred to as host.
Yeah, the host. The host would like to say, honestly, we love the support, passion for the show that you guys give. We are looking into those thoughts and feedback, and the youth academy idea. I don't know how many of those players will ever see the light of day in the Chelsea first team, but that is a bloody good suggestion, and it's perfect for international break. So, with that, we shall hit news. On that, I've just remembered something I was meant to say. I remembered from the this context. I was listening to George Michael's Faith album. It's a bloody good album. And when you see a footballer's name on something, and it's not them, but you can't help but sort of think about it. So I looked.
Where's this going?
I'm wondering this too.
This is great. So I was looking at the making of the album. I was just curious because I was like, I used to work in events, so I like the history of music and the background and how stuff is made and whatever. I'm scrolling through. So you got JJ Bell on guitar, Betsy Cook on keyboards, all very normal. And then on trumpet, Steve Sidwell.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's not him. It's not him. But for a good 5 seconds, I'm just there going, Steve Sidwell on trumpet.
Who was on sound mixing? Eric Jemba.
Yeah, beautiful.
Do you remember it?
Yeah, remember him. Oh, right. I was going to do for a rare Tuesday edition of Elevator of 10-day Chelsea transfer window news, because that's the thing we're doing. But that kind of, no one kind of gives a shit with all the rumours. We've got Garnacho news, Sesko, Mark Gurry coming back. We don't know. What I will go through straight away is the two big stories. We've got Chelsea making an approach for AC Milan goalkeeper Mike Maignan, which I was like, bloody hell, that's insane. And Jadon Sancho and Chelsea have failed to agree personal terms, so he's gone back to Manchester United for £5 million, which basically, from what I've read, was us covering United's wages for him, which in itself is kind of terrifying to know that much money for wages. But anyway, the Discord champion for us to talk, Mike Maignan. Is it Maignan? Maignan?
Maignan?
I always thought it's Maignan. That's all I always said it, which is definitely not the right.
It's definitely Maignan. I think it's Maignan. But right. What do we think on Mike Maignan?
Well, it's better than what we got.
Correct.
That's not really hard. I mean,
no, exactly.
Sanchez had a good
bars in hell.
Season.
Yeah,
I think it would be a good signing. I think it's something that experienced. I like him. Always considered one of the better players in his position in the world. I've seen people look at him and compare stats to him and Sanchez, which I think is ridiculous. I think you've got to use the eye test as well. He's an upgrade. He's definitely an upgrade.
God, yeah.
So I think we need to strengthen that position. So yeah, for me, I think it's a good signing.
I think some people have, because Burf is right. I have seen some things today as well about, you look at your Sanchez's save percentage and his save percentage. Like Sanchez's is higher, and that's great. Let's look at errors leading to goals, because that's the biggest one, isn't it? Sanchez makes more errors leading to goals, and that's what's important. You want a goalkeeper who doesn't make an error leading to a goal or one in a season, not someone who's making 6 of them. That it's insane. I like it. What I really like about it is it does show that the sporting directors are willing to sign someone who is an adult.
You know what?
It's based around value, isn't it? Because he's only
Yeah.
got like what is it, like a year left on his deal?
Yeah.
So it'd be a cut price. He's a good,
Exactly. That
you
is
know-
a clever signing. That someone's
Yeah,
actually
I
used their
agree.
brain there and gone,
Yeah.
well, he's only got 1 year left. He's experienced, very good keeper. Let's buy him. That's perfect.
And I
That's
think
what
as
we want.
well, it sort of shows that we can get money for Sanchez. I think we'll get decent money for Petrovic coming off the season he's just had. And Maignan can fill the void if we believe as highly in Penders as we apparently do. He'll fill the void until Penders is ready. So it looks like a good signing all round, to be fair.
Yeah, do you know what? When I first heard about the news dropping, I wasn't 100% sure on how I felt about it because like he's had a little bit of like injury issues. Like he goes down a lot in games. You know, where and then he's like, and he looks like he's going to come off, and then he doesn't, or you know, he gets like a finger injury and things like that during games. And so, like, I worry about like if you have him, and then you have, say, for example, Sanchez as your number two, you're only ever like one like bad, you know, broken nail or whatever away from having Sanchez back in goal. Then again, Maignan or Maignan, whatever
Mignon.
way
I've just
saying
double
it.
checked. It's Mignon.
Mignon.
It's
Mignon,
mine.
Mignon.
It's mine.
Maignan and Sanchez are probably quite similar goalkeepers in a lot of ways. You know,
God.
they're quite
What?
athletic. No, they're quite athletic. They're quite good 1v1. They're quite good, you know, with the ball at their feet. But what the key thing is obviously that leadership, that, you know, that experience, that, you know, being that little bit older, even again than Sanchez. But also the fact that he just doesn't make as many of those silly mistakes, and that's really going to matter.
You know what's funny about it? I saw on Twitter, and I'm sure all of us did on Twitter, about like the negativity and stuff regarding whatever his name is, Maignan, whatever you want to call him.
He ain't coming on the show now.
Well, no, friend of the show. And like someone said, well, he's not great at collecting crosses. Oh yeah, because Sanchez is, isn't he?
Yeah,
He's really good.
It's such a straw man argument, isn't it? It's like he doesn't do.
Yeah,
Like,
and you know, and Sanchez has less of an excuse because he's 5 inches taller than Mignon.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy, but yeah.
There's also less crosses that go into the box now. Let's be fair.
Yeah,
yes.
that's true.
No
That's true.
one likes to do that anymore. I mean, for me, this was out of nowhere.
Except us to nobody.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
also
yeah.
true. This was out of nowhere. I was told Chelsea were happy with Sanchez, Petrovic, Penders, Jorgensen, and 6 other goalkeepers we got on the books. But
So we ain't got many keepers, have we? To be fair,
that felt like a punch to the face from Romano with that news drop, because I was like, we have approached him. Because obviously he hasn't signed a new deal, so we're aware of it. He's interested in us, which again, it's like, this is really positive. I mean, this would be a statement signing for me.
I mean, we can definitely offer him like a good amount of money that fits within our wage structure, I would have thought as well. Because in Italy, I don't think he's earning that much.
No, it likely sends Petrovic out the door. Jorgensen's probably going to go out on loan. I thought Sanchez might stick around as a second choice. Apparently, he's not too thrilled about that idea when I looked into it. So maybe he can be third choice if you want to do that, Rob. We'll promote
Again.
Bettinelli.
Yeah.
Maresca wants a ball-playing goalkeeper. Mignon fits the brief like a glove, ironically. And credit where it's due. Chris just said, it's refreshing to see the club use actual common sense, targeting players that suit the manager's system rather than just grabbing shiny names off a short list they've made on Football Manager. And the numbers back this up, actually, because Mignon is better than both Sanchez and Petrovic in just about nearly every metric that matters. So I'm talking like there's a couple of percentage, but it's still better. He's 2% more accurate with his passes than Sanchez, despite attempting nearly double the number. So that's more
really
volume.
important. Yeah.
That's more volume,
impressive.
more efficiency. His goals against per 90 is 1.1 to Sanchez's 1.6. Save percentage, which we go on about Sanchez, Sanchez 70. Mignon 77, and
Fucking hell,
Mignon's-
77.
but he's played 1,200 more minutes as well than Sanchez last
So
season.
he's that's what I mean. He's a lot like Sanchez in a lot of ways. He's like you take a lot of Sanchez's good and best traits, and then you iron out his worst ones.
which are what are these? Sorry, just out of interest, what are Sanchez's best traits?
We got a list.
Do you know what? Like he's quite quick, like down to the ground for how tall he is. He's he's got a good reaction on him. He's decent 1v1 and he's quick off his line. which I think
Is this Robert Sanchez we're talking about here, or
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on, you gotta give the guy a bit of
No,
credit.
to be fair, shot stopping wise, I actually think Sanchez
He's
isn't
not
the
been.
worst.
Yeah.
I think he's actually okay. And to be fair, Ollie is right. He does come out quick.
He does.
He's actually he does make himself big when the ball's in the back of the net. So he is pretty good sometimes.
Yeah. I am interested. I am interested though into seeing what happens with Petrovic, because I know that Petrovic's ball playing stats, I think this season were actually better than Mignon's.
They're very good.
I think in Europe or whatever, I think it's Petrovic was actually the top and then Maignan. So if Maresca wants a ball playing keeper, do he wants a ball playing keeper more than he wants a person who's like well rounded in all the other attributes, which would be the Maignan choice.
Yeah,
Do you think there's a world where Petrovic goes back on loan to Strasbourg?
Oh,
they
need a goalkeeper. They need a goalkeeper though,
because they're going to need him, aren't they? And they had a good season as well, didn't they?
I think we'll end up sending them Jorgensen. I think
maybe. Chris
Chris
touched on it earlier. Actually, fuck you. Chris touched on it earlier. Sanchez has made 5 errors leading to goals last season alone. Maignan 4 over the last 4 seasons combined.
Yeah.
Hello.
That's what you expect. Elite keepers, you expect 1 a season.
I
think
will
that's
say,
the common number.
Would you say different gravy in the Premier League? Maybe with that, or not really?
It's a tougher competition. I can't pretend. We call it the so-called best league in the world for a reason.
You can force goalkeepers into more errors. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm talking shit.
You have been too much watching of Sanchez.
To be fair, we did just see an Italian league keeper concede 5 in the Champions League final. So...
Yeah. Do you know what? I think the one thing he might struggle with is he'll be pressed more in the Premier League.
Yeah.
You don't really get high presses in Serie A.
Yeah.
It's rare. It's a lot rarer than in the Premier League. So how he'll pass the ball under pressure will be interesting. But I don't really see how it's going to affect the fact that he can keep the ball up the net.
Yeah,
we'll get good money for Petrovic, I think.
I'll touch on the injury record quickly. Stop clutching your pearls. It's overblown. I mean, the only real red flag was a torn calf in 22-23. Kept him out for 25 games. That included international breaks. More recently, it's a game or 2 here and there. That to me is a finger injury. It was I can't remember I did read it, but it weren't serious injuries. It was just, okay, I think it's a slam dunk if we make it. Champions League ambition, serious structure. And he doesn't treat the ball like a live grenade, does he? He's like, balls at my feet.
Has anyone seen anything about price? Because I haven't seen anything about
what
fee.
I don't know 100%. The first ballpark figure I saw was something like 15 to 20 million.
Oh, that's an absolute bargain.
Because he's on the last year of his deal. That might be wrong, but might end up being higher than that. And you know how Italian clubs like to negotiate.
Anything around 30 though, I would say is a really good deal. Yeah.
He's on 60 grand a week at Milan. He's on 60 grand. We only have to just go, do you want double your money? Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Come to London.
Yeah, for reference, I think Pedro Neto is on 160.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Talking of salaries, oh my word. I will call it for how it is. Jadon Sancho is going back to Manchester United because we couldn't agree personal terms. That's not about loyalty to United. That's about the paycheck. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. He's on 250 a week at United, and that wage won't fly under this new structure. And this season, he didn't exactly scream 250 a week, and that would put him as our joint highest paid player. So that's not just not going to happen. And I'll be fair, I'm genuinely grateful for the goal in the Conference League final. Top class goal, amazing goal.
And the goal against Ipswich as well was really important for our season.
Yeah, I mean, he gave us a key moment in a trophy-winning run. And he supported the club from when he was a little kid. That's a brilliant story. I'm not going to knock it. But for me to turn your back on Champions League football at a club on the up for a return to that circus run by the Gym Reaper. Oh, come on.
The Gym Reaper.
Well, I've just seen that he's actually now linked with a move to West Ham.
What?
Wow.
How do you? Why? Look, we were told he was desperate
Golden
not to go
Sullivan
back
will
to
pay his
United.
wages.
Well, one of them's dead, Ollie.
Well, then one of them won't.
No,
That's
it's true.
I can't believe.
Chris, do you remember when you said I never say anything stupid?
Yeah,
very stupid. But look, if you would look, at the end of the day, if he was really that bothered, he would have just took the pay cut. I know people are going to scream, oh, but I get it's just a job. It is a job at the end of the day. I get footballer is a job. But we're not talking a minimum wage. He'd still be on at least 150 a week. That's still incredible money.
And that's incentivized as well.
Yeah,
the better he does, the more he's made.
Thing. You know, we all know Man United overpay players. That is just look at De Gea. Wasn't he in some stupid like 300 grand a week?
Well, flipping it. Think about how.
To be fair.
What have we heard today from United? They're getting Cunha, they're getting Mbomo. How do you think they're getting them after finishing 16th?
Yeah, it's not through the badge, and as much as it could be, I'm disappointed that Sancho's decided to pick potentially a payday over the right football environment, because at United your career's not going to go.
But the thing is, though, right?
It's on his head, be it though, isn't it? You know,
you can talk about wage and talk about like attitude and this and that, but realistically, are we that good that we're not getting him?
No,
I don't give a shit at all.
No, I'm not bothered. I think 25 million would have been an okay fee. Look, we said it at the time in the last episode, didn't we? You know, if he stayed, we'd be fine with it. If he was gone, we'd be fine with it.
Yeah,
because there was no real jeopardy in his price. So, you know, if you're talking, 50, 60 million, we're either looking at a player that we can't possibly miss out on and we're stupid for not agreeing the wages, or we're looking at something absolutely outrageous that we were never going to pay anyway. And so, I don't know. It's just, he seems like, he's a kind of a maybe player. I think his best time might be past. Do you know what I would keep an eye out for with Sancho? I wonder if he'll struggle to find a club that will want to pay him his wages. If he doesn't want to go out to Saudi, for
100%.
example, and if he wants to stay in the Premier League, he's really going to find it difficult. And I could see us potentially even going back in for him later in the summer if he hasn't found anybody.
Yeah, I think whoever negotiated that deal with a 5 million option to cancel an obligation to buy at United probably doesn't have a job now, because that is still, when you think about it, it's absolutely insane that it's not an obligation to buy. Essentially, that's what it's not, because it's an option to buy.
The thing is, though, I suppose, in a way, from a Man United point of view, they've got a loan fee from us. Then they've got 5 million, and they've still got him. And if they do find a buyer, they could make 40 million.
I don't think they'll get 40.
The thing is,
they're never getting 40 million.
This West Ham
be controversial.
From a Saudi club, you could get 40 million easily.
But he's got to agree to it.
I actually think, though,
he loves the money, doesn't he?
Call me like crazy here, and you probably will.
Okay.
Do you think in Amarim's system,
no,
he could do a job as an inside 10?
Absolutely.
Do you know what? No, I've changed my mind. I thought you were going to say as a wing back.
No, not as a wing back. But as one of those
that would be crazy.
Who's not quite a winger, not quite a number 10, but like that inside sort of channel. I think he could actually be relatively useful, because he's actually okay on the ball. He's not quick, but I think he's relatively useful in those pockets. Yeah, but I actually think in those pockets of space, he's actually quite dangerous. If you be dangerous.
Do you know what's funny? If you said 5 years ago that Mason Mount and Jadon Sancho would be playing for Man United, you'd be thinking that's one of the best midfields in the Premier League.
Yeah, you would. I think if Amarim doesn't like Garnacho's social media activity, he's not going to like Jadon Sancho's when he literally posted the word freedom on Rashford's post. I'm just saying. Oh my God.
I'm not saying he definitely won't stay at Man U, but I'm saying, like, hypothetically, could he do a good job in that side as one of those tens?
I don't think it'd be Sancho. I don't think Sancho could do a job in the Prem. I just don't think he's built for the Premier League.
It's a shame, because he was great at Dortmund, and he was.
Do you know what would actually be class? He'll never do it, obviously, because of the wages. He should go to the Championship.
Wrexham.
He would tear up the Championship.
Come
Wrexham
on.
could give him some money.
Oh my word,
Yeah,
that'd be insane. I love that. Right, it's that time again where I've got no drum roll in front of me, but the tuxes are on, confetti is loaded, and no dramatic music to cue, because it is the At the Bridge Pod end of season award show. So we've got Worldies to the woeful, the bangers to the bench warmers. It's our own highly prestigious, definitely made up awards, and it matters. The players will never care, but we care. So first award up is the easiest award of the season, I think. It's Player of the Season for the men's team. Who did we feel? I've given it Caicedo.
Yeah, it's Caicedo.
We've all got the same, haven't we? We've
Yeah,
all got
surely
Caicedo.
we've all
I mean,
given it
I
to
used to
Caicedo.
call it the bad back award, and I kind of feel he deserves it because he literally has a spine that it must be so painful with the amount of carrying he did for our teams. Paul Scholes said he's not that great, which is nice to know. Thanks, Paul. And
Yeah,
but he
well,
played
if anything sums up why Paul Scholes isn't involved in football still, it's that.
He's played every single minute in the Premier League last season. He was always a 7 out of 10. He played in every position you felt he did. He was just an engine. Remove him and the Ferrari that we are building becomes a broken down Fiat again. I just don't think we'd be where we are. Top 4, Europa Conference League. Yeah, that tournament winner.
Do you know what the thing about Caicedo is that and people tend to use this phrase when they talk about like attackers and maverick players when they say this, but he is a total footballer. He is a footballer's footballer. He is good at everything.
I think he's genuinely the most complete midfielder in the league.
Yes.
Except for shooting.
Yeah, he needs. If he had some goals,
Scored from the halfway line.
He always scores on the last day of the season as well.
You remember? Scored from the halfway line, and Burf told us a lovely story about how he told someone about it.
I did. And you know what? I'll do it again if I have to.
Player of the season, women's team. I will let. Who wants to go first on that?
I think Chris should go first on this one.
I agree.
Erin Cuthbert. I do think it was close between her and Sandy Baltimore. But I've just edged it to Cuthbert because I think you noticed when she wasn't in the team more than when Baltimore wasn't in the team.
That's fair. On that, it's too easy. Everyone, listeners, my WSL signing of the season. It was my player of the season. It's easy. One of the best debut campaigns in football history for me. Sandy Baltimore didn't just hit the ground running. Instrumental in our unbeaten domestic treble. The absolute standout in an FA Cup final, demolition of Man United. And I've got numbers. I mean, compared to players in her role, she ranks in the top 3% for touches, top 1% for successful take-ons, top 1% for progressive carries, and top 1% for non-penalty goals by fullbacks or wingers. I mean, 7 goal involvements in 15 WSL games. She destroyed Man United single-handedly.
Played a few different positions as well, didn't she? She played sort of left back, and then she played further forward.
I'm so convinced by her ability and that season. I will say by the end of next season, she's top 5 in the Ballon d'Or conversation.
Ooh,
wow.
Like
She's already 9th in the odds I saw. Was it 9th or was it 14th? But still, she's in the Ballon d'Or conversation already.
Do you know what the thing about Baltimore as well? Big goals in big moments. That I know it didn't lead to anything in the Champions League, but the first goal against Man City for the comeback was absolutely insane.
Huge. Ollie, who's your choice?
Slightly different. I do really acknowledge Cuthbert's had a phenomenal season, and I really only didn't pick her because I just wanted to pick someone a bit different. And Baltimore as well. She's been absolutely phenomenal this year. I've actually gone with Myra Ramirez.
Yeah, I went Ramirez as well.
And the reason I picked her is because on her day she is unplayable. Like you simply cannot handle her when she's at her best. She reminds me a lot of a Didier Drogba or a Diego Costa, a proper battering ram striker that you just can't handle when they're at their very top of their level. And for me, whenever I've watched her play, I've been in awe of how easily she's been able to just turn it on. I know it's not been all the time. I know it's not been perfect, but especially in this Chelsea side, which didn't have a focal point in terms of attack, with Sam Kerr being out and things like that, with Aggie maybe not being quite ready yet. I think she's come in and she's done a really important job for the season, and I think that needs to be acknowledged.
Anything to add, Burf, before we move on?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with Ali, to be fair. I think sometimes she genuinely looks like she's just a bit of a bully, really. And I mean that in the nicest possible way. Just really impressed me every time I've watched her. And like Ali said, I think she's been a real unsung hero, I think, personally, of this Chelsea team this season. And you probably could have gone for Baltimore or Cuthbert, like Chris said. But for me, I think Ramirez, was just more impressive and stood out a bit more for me.
Okay. I also think Micah Hermano deserves an honourable mention as well. She's been really, really solid since she's signed for us, and she's still so young.
Oh, 100%. Most improved player. I could have gone Mark Cucurella here, and he's been a revelation this season. But for me, he was already, he was cooking, as we call it, at the end of last season. Last season
to
before
be
that.
specific.
So by my very strict and made up rules, I think I've disqualified him. So I have to give the award to Enzo Fernandez because I'll let the stats give my story. Goals up from 3 to 6, assists 2 to 7, blocks 30 to 46, crosses 45 to 109, tackles 22 to 33, goal creating actions more than doubled from 7 to 16, shot creating actions 82 to a ridiculous 147. And he looked like the midfielder that we bought because of his World Cup performance. And look, forget the spreadsheets for a minute. Use your eyes. This season, he looked confident. He looked composed. He looked completely in control. He was very important to us. And he went from, for me, why did we spend that much on him to, oh, he's a key player in this team. And that deserves the award for me.
Yeah. Yeah, to be fair, I had Enzo Fernandez. I think he has looked so much better this season. I think our main sort of gripe with him last season is that we looked a better team without him. This season, I think we look weaker without him. I think him and Caicedo have got that connection now. He's getting forward more. He's getting really important goals for us. His heading is really underrated, by the way. He's got a lot of headed goal this season.
He's only about 4 foot tall as well. He does very well for how short he is.
And I think with Gallagher going, I think that's actually freed up Enzo to play his true natural game. I think he is a bit of a rat like Gallagher. I think he is good at pressing. I think he is good in that final third in getting a goal and arriving into the box late. His passing's been better. He's just looked a lot sharper. And for me, he's a real crucial part of this team now. And he's starting to look as if... I mean, for me, I actually think I would have put him up there for one of our better players this season. And I think he's starting to... He hasn't justified that price tag yet. Obviously, it's a lot of money, but he's getting there. Definitely getting there.
Okay. Chris?
I also had Enzo Fernandez.
Oh, the agenda is truly over.
It's so funny, isn't it? Because last season, when Poch was playing him further forward, everyone was slagging him off, saying that to get the best out of Enzo, you've got to play him deeper, collecting the ball off the back four, like a Jorginho type deep line playmaker. And Poch took Pouters for that all year, and then Maresca's come in and played him in the exact same position. And you've seen why he was playing there. He's not good enough in the Premier League to play deep because it involves too many defensive actions, which he's not very good at. I think the one thing this year is you haven't noticed him as poorly defensively because he's further forward. So it's not his responsibility necessarily to be that player who's not getting beat in midfield. I think everything about him has got better this year. I think his attitude, his leadership, his energy, his work rate, his defending in terms of pressing has been better. On the ball, he's been better. He's added goals. He's added assists. He's turned up in big moments as well, like big goals in big games. I don't think actually we could have asked for much more from him in terms of an improvement this season. I just think now it's about next year, can we see it again? And then the year after that, can we see it again? And then if he does that, I think he doesn't have to get better for me, I don't think. I think if he has a similar season next year and the one after, I think all of a sudden then you're looking at the price tag going, well, for what we've had for 4 years, I think it's probably worth it.
Yeah,
agreed.
It's a clean sweep for Enzo Fernandez. He's cleaning up all 4 trophies today.
Wow.
I don't think there's really anything more to be said on him. I think he's just improved in basically every facet of his game. And but for the fact that if you were asking us this time last year what we thought of Enzo Fernandez, I think we'd bite your hand off if somebody was offering us, a ham sandwich for him. Whereas now, that would be quite an expensive ham sandwich. So yeah, there's happy to see it.
Signing of the season. I went with Tosin because he literally cost us less than a kick to the bollocks and it made us feel better. He has been... The fact he was free kind of feels like a cheat code because he walked in for £0. Signing on fee. We don't consider those here. And he gave us at least 30 million in value. He's been calm. He's been composed. He's been dominant in the air. and he stepped up like a veteran, and he is. I think he's our oldest outfield player. I've named him a winner multiple times this season, and for a good reason. You know, he brought some actual solidity. Yeah, let's go with that. An old school defending, and yeah, I'm pound for pound or pound for free. He's smart bit of business for this club, and that needs to be doing. We need to do more smart business. Who's got some other signings of the season or the same?
I also had Tosin. Again, for exactly the same reasons as you. He cost us nothing. I think actually when you look at our last summer window, it was slim pickings.
Ciao, Felix.
I'm
best
glad
signing.
you said that.
It's not
Jesus.
great.
I looked earlier and I thought, really, was that all we saw? Jesus. Yeah, I think he's been quite understated this year. I think he's been quite consistent. He hasn't had too many shocking games. I think he's brought some leadership. He's brought some experience. He's done everything you would have wanted him to do when we signed him. And I think for free, I think it's just another one of them signings where you just put a massive tick next to it and go, yeah, it was a shrewd bit of business.
Ollie?
Yeah, another notch on for Tosin for me. I mean, I was like Chris says, I was looking at the heavy hitters, you know, that we had in this category this year. You know, do you go with Keane and Dewsbury Hall? Do you go with Jorgensen? Do you go with Mark Gue? Do you go with João Felix? And as close as they were all to this award,
close,
especially Dewsbury Hall.
I think it's got to go to Tosin because, like you say, he cost us nothing as well. You know, important to remember, he came from Fulham, local rival, and he's performed. You know, like he's properly performed for the badge. I think he's brought the group together as well. They call him Uncle Tosin for a reason. You know, like that. It's nice to have that kind of slightly more senior figure around in the dressing room. Like obviously, like he is dad to all of them, basically.
He's 26.
I know. He's dad. I know, but he's dad. So you know, it's. I think it's really important. I think he's probably been able in the right moments to put an arm around some of the players and let them know everything will be all right. I think he's probably quite, you know, good in that sort of like interior leadership core. He reminds me a lot in that way of Gary Neville. You know, sort of a centre back who we didn't sign for that much money, who isn't the best in the world, but will give you a consistent performance. Who was part of that kind of core leadership group, who knows the standard to be at. You know, and will work hard for his team. So yeah, it can only be a
He's actually 27, turns 28 in September. So I'll just
also Ollie.
Old.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but Gary Neville.
He meant Gary Cahill.
Yeah, I thought you meant Gary Cahill.
Did I say Gary Neville?
Good old Gary Neville.
He hasn't slept, guys. Leave him alone.
That Jesus kicking in now, isn't it?
Oh, Jesus, yeah, honestly.
What about you, Burf?
Yeah, I mean, I was tempted by Pedro Neto, but he's not quite done enough, really. So I think value for money wise, you've got to give it Tosin. Like Ollie said, character wise, I think he's brought the team together. He seems like a likeable guy off the pitch. Performed well on the pitch as well when he's came in and when he's played. He's not really made any mistakes. He's been solid. He's not set the world alight, but I think for free, I think you've got to say he's the most value for money, and I think he's a valuable member of the team and squad. So yeah.
Oh, best player to sit on the bench for most of the season, and technically, I did research on this. Nkunku made the most appearances off the bench, and I could give it him, but then he had all
He wasn't the best one, was he?
No, he had all the impact of a wet sponge in a hurricane. He didn't. Gusto and Sancho did follow him up on the super sub list. Their form's a bit like dodgy Wi-Fi. It was up, it was down, buffering. You know, I'm going to give it to someone who might not have grabbed headlines, but he earned my respect, and I could see him being in the team more next season. That's Josh Champong. 36 match day squads, 12 appearances. So a lot of time on the bench. And he did the business. And, you know, for a breakthrough campaign, that's not bad. I'd like to see some more from him next season. That's not down to me though. Who have we got?
I've got an interesting one, and you'll probably be shocked when I say his name, but I've got an interesting one. Now hear me out here, right?
He's gonna say Dewsbury Hall.
There's build up here.
It is Dewsbury Hall, right?
Right, go on, let's hear it, Burf. Let's hear it, Burf. Let's hear it, Burf.
Can I just say, right, when he's not moaned once, he's barely played in the Prem, but when he has come on, he's had energy. He hasn't always had quality, but he's had energy. He's put 100% in. And that Europa League conference campaign, no matter what teams he played, he came up with some important goals.
Yeah.
Was good for us. And you know what? I've got to respect it a lot because he actually
kind of grown on me, you know.
He scored some important goals in that tournament. And without him, you know, I'm just saying, you know, he's a good squad player to have. And I've got to respect it. I really have got to respect it. And I thought, you know what? I'll give it him.
You got to give him that for the energy, but a border collie will provide you energy as well. You know.
But you know what, Ollie? Everyone loves a border collie.
Yeah, and not everyone loves Dewsbury Hall. I can tell you that for free. But yeah, for me, best player to sit on the bench for most of the season. This is kind of, I don't know if I'm being a bit cheeky here because maybe you wouldn't consider him being on the bench for most of the season, but I've gone with Mark Gue. Okay. You know, I know for some of it, a fair bit of it, in fact, he's been in the treatment room. But I think actually when he was available to be out there on the bench, he did actually make a decent impact when he did play in the Conference League, especially. You know, scored some important goals out there. You know, had an interesting sort of breakthrough season, and I'm like a bit like with Dewsbury Hall in a sense, for the same reasons as you, Burf. Showed energy, didn't complain. You know, tried hard, got a few goals here and there, and I'm interested to see what he does next.
Okay, Chris.
Well, I'm a bit surprised because I thought the player who I've picked, I thought someone else would have had. I've picked Tyreek George.
I thought you'd say that. I did think someone else would say that.
I was thinking about him, but I don't know.
Obvious. Stop being boring, Chris, is what I'm saying.
I just think he has been the best player that we've left on the. I think he's been really unlucky. I think there was so many times where the team sheet came out and people would have preferred to have seen George playing over Sancho.
There were a few times as well. Do you know what? Part of the reason I didn't have him is because there was quite a few times where he's just left out of the squad as well.
You know what, though? To be fair, you talk about important goals. Tyreek George, that goal against Fulham, really turned our season around.
Game changer.
Yeah.
Absolute game changer. Because I think if we lose
talking about
Fulham
moments
game,
in a season, that's up there.
Yeah, because I think if we lose that Fulham game,
we don't get top four. It's that simple.
I don't.
Yeah,
because I don't think the other results follow.
Correct. I fully agree.
Yeah, we don't rally around it, you know. And you should probably say the same for Neto's goal as well, obviously, because he did win it in the end. But but George is the catalyst for it.
Exactly.
Biggest not a real game.
It's not a real game
Of the season, a brand new award.
This was so easy.
I know what you've gone with. I don't even need to look at your notes. But anyway, it's a brand new award suggested by Paul M22 on the Discord. I was convinced it had to be the Jadon second leg. It felt more like a training session. And then I dug deeper and I found something even faker than that Jadon second leg. Chelsea 5, Barrow 0 in the League Cup third round. Because that game...
Was that this season? My God.
It was. I think that game catfished me because... Nkunku scored a hat-trick and many went, that is it. He nearly ran out of balloons that day. It was like, he is it. João Felix was on it. He ran around like a generational talent. He scored a bloody lovely free kick. Go check it up, listener. It was a lie. That was a lie. We got high on the vibes. We forgot the context. What followed after that was anything but that level of performance. Barrow didn't know what hit him. I certainly didn't. Because I was bought in. What? No, not a real game because it catfished me. Not a real game. Not a real game. Chris, you are the honorary. You invented it. So what was your not a real game?
I have to go with the one that I'm pretty sure coined this phrase. FC Noah.
Yeah, that's
oh my
that's
God.
mine as well.
Not a real game. Not a real team.
Not a real league.
They're champions of Armenia. Come on.
And do you know what? And we love them for it.
We do.
I really like Noah. I think everything about that club was fantastic, from the way their fans was during the game to the little message after we won the competition. I think they have been a class act.
Yeah.
But they are easily the worst team I've ever seen us play.
and I'll tell you what, Chris, I'll add on to that, right? I'm just going to go through all the goal scorers now, right? And you'll be surprised at this. So you've got
fuck.
Adebayo on the 12th minute, played for us loads this season. Then this is where it gets interesting. Mark Guiu, barely played after that, got injured. Fair enough. Axel De Sassy went on loan a month later.
I forgot we had him.
Hold on. Then João Felix got 2, went on loan a month later. Then Mykhailo Mudryk got banned. Got done for drugs. And then Christopher Nkunku's barely played since as well.
That is so bizarre. If you showed anybody that next season and be like, who do you think scored in that game?
It's so funny because basically Tosin is the only one who scored in that game and survived it.
You're not wrong. Bloody hell. That's fair.
He survived Noah's flood. That's what happened.
That's fair. Right. I guess we go straight to meme of the season. Easy year for me because it's
not a real game.
Hold a flame to this.
I had that.
Yeah, Chris, I don't blame you. We used it to describe anything and everything. It wasn't a real something. I use it in daily life. The Discord use it. I just, it's brilliant. It's not a real club. It's not real this, and maybe an honorary shout out to the horny bonk. That dominated the Discord this season. I caught
I forgot about the horny bonk.
The horny bonk. Right, this one's beautiful. The Lucas Piazzon Award, which is actually the award for the loanee that is going on loan again next season. João Felix, for me, he's going to head off to Benfica, in my view. I don't.
Please tell me he's not going on loan. Please,
he will go on loan. I don't think a Saudi team are foolish enough to pay actual money to bring him to the league. We got rid of one Romelu Lukaku to buy another. Permanent loans every season until the contract's to a point where we just go, 10 mil. It'll do. I don't know what you guys have got.
I've got Petrovic, to be fair, because I think he will go out on loan again.
That's sensible.
I don't think it'll be Strasbourg, but I think I actually think it could be a Premier League side that he goes on loan to.
Interesting. Could be interesting. I've gone with Mike Penders. That for me is a lock for he is not being in the squad next season. He needs a loan at Strasbourg for sure, and he probably needs another one after that. You could probably queue him up for this award next year as well.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh, Chris.
Well, I've gone for a player who some listeners probably don't even know that we've got. And he'll be a player who will continually go out on loan until he's about 30, and then we sell him. And then everyone goes, oh, because he's still here. Like Babra Rahman.
Or Lewis Baker.
Yeah. Caleb Wiley.
Oh, my word. I forgot about him.
Yep.
There we go.
Oh, yeah.
We signed him. He's never made an appearance. He went to Strasbourg. He only played 6 times there. And then he went on loan to Watford, played 10 times for them. He's going on loan again, and then he'll go on loan again, and then he'll go on loan again.
Honestly,
wow,
it's amazing how someone can sign for us so young, and yet he's already remember him.
Yeah.
Oh
dear. Right, biggest fan overreaction to anything for me. I think it was probably December for Chelsea, Premier League title contenders after 16 games. Because if you cast your mind back, we were second, just 3 points behind Liverpool. Total race was trending. And I fell into that trap. Chris didn't. He was sensible. I fell into it. I'll be honest, the fixture list did do us some favours. We had Leicester, we had Villa, fresh off a Champions League title, Juventus, Southampton, Spurs, Brentford. Apart from Brentford, you would say that's a very, very soft launch phase of the season. And of course, we do not forget we were rotating the Conference League 11 like it was pre-season. So the main lads got a full week of rest. Then we drew Everton, which was... then we lost back-to-back games against Ipswich and Fulham. And then suddenly we had to sack Maresca because the season was at risk. That was Christmas. That was overreaction both sides. We went from title race to literally 3 games later, he has to go. And there were people that said that. So that's why it was my pick. Ollie, what have you got?
I think I actually gave a similar answer last season. So if you're interested, listeners, go back and see what I said last season for this. But I said that every time anything ever was announced about Bowley and Igbali not getting on, because it's clearly they just have a slightly professional disagreement over the way that the club is run, and they're still willing to run it together. There we had all that discussion about, is one going to buy the other one out? Who's going to take control? This or that? And at the end of the season, just nothing happened. It's not a real disagreement.
Not a real disagreement. Chris?
Not a real game.
Not a real game.
I was tempted to go with everyone's overreaction to my comments about the celebrations against Forest, just to piss people
Yeah,
off.
that's gotta be it. That's gotta be it.
We've got it.
But I haven't. I'm going all the way back to August.
Oh.
Man City opening day. We lost 2-0 and everyone was so fucking happy with it. If you remember the reaction to that game was fucking ludicrous. We lost 2-0. We didn't lay a glove on City in that game. And everyone went, I thought we was really good. Because everyone was expecting us to get beat 4-0. And then when we didn't get beat 4-0, everyone went, I thought we was excellent. And it's like,
the reality was is
hell.
that we weren't actually good. It just turned out City were really bad that year.
Yeah, that's it.
Bloody hell. Chris.
Yeah, so I've gone for
Burf,
the.
sorry.
It's all right. My name is Chris, by the way, Mike. You don't
Not
apologise
on
for
this
me.
pod, it isn't.
Other host.
Mikey's just host, so
Yeah,
it's a bit greedy if you really want if you're saying that, Burf, because you've got 2 names and Mikey's got none.
yeah. Sorry, host. Yeah. So my reaction is when everyone just went for Chris after his reaction.
Yeah.
Chris just hasn't got the guts to say it, but I'll say it because I'll back him up.
Oh man!
Mainly because I thought it was really funny, but also, it was just a bit over the top, weren't it? I mean, he's allowed an opinion. I might not always agree with Chris, but he's allowed an opinion.
I have never known the comment section on a Spotify episode to go so mad in one literally 24, 40 hours. Like, how many have we got? We've got how many? 56? How the what? Oh my word! Ollie,
you know what though? I didn't even necessarily agree with what Chris was saying, but I thought it was just so over the top, like people disagreeing and going mad at him.
They did go mad.
Do you know what the funny thing is, though? Is that is the cycle when people disagree with Chris. People massively disagree with him, and then like 2 months later, they begrudgingly agree.
Yeah. Ollie, what was yours? What was yours?
Mine was with the egg, barley, and bowley.
Oh right, sorry.
Yeah.
Right. Highlight of the. What was your highlight of the best highlight of the weekend? For me. I've got a me one, haven't I? Nigel Slater commented and liking my photo on Instagram. That was a big thing for me. Obviously, football, being able to go to not 1 but 3 Wolves games this season because it gave me to see live football again, like proper elite level football. I know I watched Spurs take them on, but still they're Europa League winners, so it was nice. They were amazing, and obviously from 2 weeks ago, if it's one thing, Santiago Montiel scoring that insane overhead kick for outside the box again for Independiente. That was just insane. Still is. Chris, what was yours?
Mine was going to the Women's FA Cup final.
Oh, yeah.
Like I don't think I could have asked for a more perfect day. Like I got there with no trouble on public transport. The weather was quite nice. The game was amazing. And then I got home again on public transport with no issues.
Wow. That's a big thing. Listeners, if you trust me, the trains in the UK, not great. Burf.
Oh, I don't know, because I know I had one stag do the one time. I think that's probably the moment of my weekend. And that was about 3 months ago or so. And it was just probably the best weekend I've had in a long time. So I think I've got over that, to be honest. It's pretty standard, pretty boring, but that's all I can remember at the minute.
No, that's
so I'm
cool.
going with that.
That's all right. Ollie, we're skipping Ollie because he never does anything on a weekend, so we don't need to worry about that.
Ollie had a quiet one.
You motherfucker.
52 weeks of quiet ones.
I had a quiet season. I had a quiet year.
What was it?
Can I change mine? Sorry, can I change mine?
Sure, award. So yeah,
yeah. Can I change? Yeah,
you motherfucker.
I went to Wembley at the start of the season. To watch wrestling. That was a highlight of my weekend.
That's cool.
That's
cool.
it. That's my one.
Oh yeah, good one.
Ollie,
nice. But, I was thinking about it because like this segment is best highlight of your, what was your highlight of the weekend, right? And I was thinking like that's not necessarily down to just me. I was thinking that this could be something for everybody. Was it, like I said, was it something that Mikey did? Was it Chris going to the FA Cup final? Was it Burf doing his wrestling and his various adventures and things? And I think I'm gonna fall down on the end actually. Also picking Chris going to the FA Cup final.
That's
because
actually really wholesome.
I think it's really nice that he got to go with his daughter and they got to celebrate Chelsea winning a trophy together. So well done, Chris. You had a better weekend than I had all year.
Thank you, Ollie.
Oh, the penultimate award. We've got Alan Hansen Award for Most Ridiculous Statement or Hot Take. There were some good nominees this year, I found. I've got the European lad with Kvaratskhelia to PSG. Looks like we ain't hearing from him for the next 4 years. We had Danny Murphy for Moises Caicedo. For Moises Caicedo, needs to show a bit more. He's been good this season, but not exceptional. Roy Jennings, quite often in this sort of category. If Saka didn't get injured, he would have won Player of the Year. Graham Bailey for Tosin will be the worst signing of the summer. I don't see him as an upgrade on Trevor Chalobah in any way. Connor on Twitter for saying that this after Chelsea's 5-0 win over Barrow. Felix and Nkunku are better than Noni and Jackson. Oh, Blessing on Twitter, someone pointed out, said Chelsea are going to regret loaning Raheem Sterling to Arsenal. Mark my tweet.
Fucking hell.
I did. Someone else did. Well, I've tossed all those aside because Marco van Basten said on Saturday night, and I quote, that Lincoln Park performance was garbage. Absolutely garbage. It's a disgrace that UEFA allows this. Now, I just want to point out Lincoln Park have 73 major awards under their belt. They have 2 Grammys, 6 AMAs, 4 Billboard Music Awards, 10 MTV European trophies. The list goes on. I love them. And Marco, you've got 3 Ballon d'Ors. That's great. But I don't ever see, Chris, Mike Shinoda slating Marco van Basten's time in charge of the Netherlands national team. I'm just saying.
I'm a miserable bastard, right? But Marco van Basten, honestly, he hates football.
You know what? You know what?
Honestly, you should call him miserable Van Bastard. That's what you should call him.
And Rafael van der Vaart, though.
Yeah, they just hate football.
These people from like Holland, they just seemingly retire from football and they just hate football. It's really strange.
Yeah, it is weird.
Oh man.
I've got an honorary mention for this is Troy Deeney saying that Liam Delap should have gone to Man United.
What a move!
Yeah,
great move.
But the one I had to give it to, and the one I simply could not ignore is every single thing that Jamie Carragher has said about Chelsea this season.
He's still at it. I saw it today.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
He's still doing it. This late in the season, we've already got Champions League football. We're already going to be in it next year. Are we pushing for the title? Whatever. Do you know what it is? I think his team's won the title, so he's feeling big for his boots, and he thinks he can sort of pounce
He's an Everton
on
fan.
Yeah, I know, but but Liverpool are his team as well.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a weird one. Yeah, for me, everything he said drove me up the wall this year.
That's cool.
Mine's quite a recent one.
Go on.
It's the fact that Bruno Fernandes should be in Team of the Year.
Oh, fuck off! No, he shouldn't.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've prepared stats.
Yes.
Because the one thing that really annoys me about Team of the Year is people only seem to take into account April and May. They seem to forget that the season started last August.
This is what I like about Chris. He comes with receipts.
In his first 19 games, so the first half of this season, he had 4 goals and 5 assists.
Oh, nice.
His 4 goals came against Chelsea and Man City, both penalties. Leicester and Nottingham Forest in a game that they lost. His assists, 2 against Everton, 1 against Leicester, 1 against Brentford, 1 against Southampton.
Easy there. We should be rolling the Ballon d'Or out.
We should. I don't know why we haven't.
And then in the second half of the season, he only scored 4 goals in 19 games. So what are we doing?
No, I'm not wrong. I'm not disagreeing with that at all.
Palmer had a better first half of the season than Fernandes had a second half.
Correct.
And no one was talking about Palmer getting a Team of the Year.
No, they weren't. Burf, any extras to add?
Yeah, no, that Sterling one.
That's cool.
That Sterling one.
Yeah, the Sterling one is bad.
I can't believe no one else has said that. That is
No.
absolutely horrendous. He didn't get a Premier League goal all season. I think he only scored one, and that was against Bolton.
No, do you know what? Can we give this one to Raheem Sterling himself? Because he said, "Now you'll see the best."
That is true. Not great. That is not great. Finally, we have the award for disappointment of the season, and it will be forever sponsored by Chelsea's 22-23 season. For me, oh my word, easy. You've got an award, mate. Christopher Nkunku. Last year we gave, or maybe I did, I don't know. We gave him a pass because the pre-season injury derailed everything. Yeah, this year, grand debut, the I've arrived moment in the Premier League. It kind of felt more like you're ghosted. Barely visible, rarely impactful. And when he did show up, you kind of saw the attitude matching the performances. It was flat, uninspired, and downright baffling for me. The finest of David Copperfield acts, because he disappeared. The Conference League, not a real game. I can't consider those performances or the Barrow hat-trick. For me, disappointment. Sorry.
How much of a fake stat was it that he was like a joint top scorer in like
Load of bollocks.
November?
Not a real stat. Not a real stat.
Yeah.
The biggest thing for me with Nkunku was pre-season gave me more hope as well, because he was good again in pre-season.
Yes, he was.
And then this season, not just the way he performed, because again, I do think he had some good games. It's more the fact that he's just not played, and doesn't seem to want to play either. Like, he's quite happy to just see the season out and then leave. Like, yeah, I had massive hopes for him this year, and this is why you don't have high hopes. Yeah, because you just get let down.
Ollie.
I have something very similar, but it's not actually a player. It's the archetype of player who's not a striker but also not an attacking midfielder. Because for us specifically, because that does include Nkunku, but it also includes João Felix. And together, those two are proving that position is dying in football.
You're gonna love Friday,
and it needs to die.
Burf, round us off.
I'll go for something different. I'll go with Wesley Fofana.
Oh,
yeah,
good one as well. To be fair,
and stuff and he never really kicked on. Rushed himself back.
He's more disappointing because he's a very good player, but he's so injury prone. It's just like when will it ever work for him?
We could say the same for Lavia, couldn't we? Really,
but I think Lavia is extremely good. I don't think Fofana when he plays is as good as Lavia is when he plays.
I think is when Lavia plays, I think it's like you can't replace what he does, and I think
is true.
Yeah,
and Fofana, we could for the most part throughout the season, and we had to.
That's our awards for 24-25. And before I even get to go to the next segment, hello. Chelsea are expected to make an offer for Maignan, got it wrong. AC Milan are more inclined to keep him in bid to buy time for him to extend his contract, but lack of Champions League football could force him to sell for 20 to 25 million pounds. Got it wrong again. Maignan is very keen on the move, and the deal is progressing quickly. It's because it's 10-day window, isn't it? I keep forgetting we've got a 10-day transfer window.
Yeah, Milan won't keep him because I understand what they're doing. They want to stall the deal in the hope that if he misses the 10-day window, he'll sign a new deal with them.
I love how everyone's forgetting there's going to be another transfer. Like, people are going to be doing something in the next 7 days when it's closed. Come on.
They've lost all their power though, because he's only got a year left.
Yeah. Do you want him to go for free?
And they missed out on Champions League, so they need the money.
Yeah, that is true.
And the player's less likely to stay without it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll quickly, we won't do Christmas questions today because we'll do some on Friday when we do our predictions review, which is always fun. So we'll wrap up today's show with the end of show game. And you love this. This is incredible how much you love this on the listener survey. Football 20 questions. So you know how it works. Let's go, team. I'm going to go Burf. Burf gets the first question.
Yeah, give Burf question one.
Oh, okay. It's always tough going first in this one.
Yes, it is. That's one.
Are they still playing now?
No.
So they're retired. Nice. Good question, Burf.
Thank you.
Have they played for Chelsea?
No.
Okay, never played for Chelsea. Are they left-footed?
Oh, fuck off. I don't know.
What a stupid question that is. Are they left-footed?
If they're left-footed, it narrows it down.
To what? Like half a million players?
Yeah.
Are they left-footed?
I don't. I'm literally going on Transfer Mark now. Does it even tell me? He's
part of my
both.
goal-
He's both. There you go.
You see, that's valuable.
Yeah.
I suppose.
As opposed to a three-legged player that they normally
have.
Hey! My goal in this game is always to make Mikey look something up that he doesn't have in front of him.
Both. There you go. Both. Anyone can drop a question. Now,
It's Burf's question, isn't it?
What, Chris? What did you say? Sorry, my mic just dropped out. Then what did you say?
Did he play in
I said,
Chelsea?
I said it's your question.
Okay, so right, okay. So what have we had so far? He's
both-footed.
Retired, never
Both
played for
footed.
Chelsea, 3-footed.
Both footed.
Jeez.
Right. Have they played in the Prem before?
Yes, they have.
Yeah, there we go.
Are they a midfielder?
They are not. But there we go. 5
Me
questions,
next, isn't it?
It is.
I'm going to ask.
God, what's this going to be?
Did he retire before 2015?
What a niche question
Definitely,
again.
yes, he did.
So older school player.
Yeah. I mean, that still doesn't really narrow it down. To be honest,
Well, do you know? Interestingly, Burf, the whole aim of the game is to slowly narrow it down through the medium of 20 questions. You fucking idiot!
No, you're supposed to get it as quickly as possible. That's the whole point, Ollie. So you could have played from 1930 to 2015.
Yeah, it's Stanley Matthews. God damn it! Who is it? Who is it?
Is it me?
It's Burf's question. Yeah.
Sorry,
You don't even know the order of the game, mate.
I keep thinking it's Ollie then Chris. Right.
No.
Okay. Right. Not midfielder, is it? Chris has asked that.
Yeah, he's not a midfielder.
Right.
3-legged.
Have they ever won a World Cup?
Definitely not.
Oh, definitely not. So it's going to be an
The
obscure
fact he said definitely not
means
they're probably from an obscure nation.
Or they're a bit shit.
Yeah, but they could. Yeah, but I reckon that's something like Greek or something.
They could just never have been called up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
I mean, they could be English.
Could be a shit player. It could be English, to be fair.
It's me now, isn't it?
No, it's my question. I think.
Oh no, you go, Chris.
The team they played for in the Premier League,
Yes.
predominantly red.
No.
Dominantly ready.
So not Chelsea, not Arsenal, not Liverpool, not Man United.
You know what? Actually, I'll say yes because one of the clubs he played for in the Premier League did wear predominantly red. Yeah, I'll allow that. Yeah, he did. And you've got another clue there. One of.
Yeah, he's played in for several clubs in the Premier League. So
Big Charlton, though, to be fair.
I mean, maybe we can nail down the position. Is he a winger?
No.
I was half expecting Ollie to say, was he a left wing back or something ridiculous like that?
Don't be silly, Buff. There are no 2-footed left wing backs.
So he right.
Tired before 2015, played for multiple Premier League clubs.
Not a midfielder.
Not a midfielder, but 2-footed.
Yeah.
And that's why I asked winger, because some wingers are 2-footed in that way.
Yeah.
Was he a defender?
No.
He's probably a striker then.
I think he could be a goalkeeper here. Good instinct. I think he's a goalkeeper.
2-footed keeper? Could be.
Yeah, or transfer mark put both because they didn't know what footed he was.
Exactly.
That's also true.
He was equally shit with both.
If you think about it, a keeper's more likely to be 2-footed because you never really know as much about a keeper's feet, do you?
I'd love to give you a clue because I don't think
I'll waste the question and say, is he a goalkeeper?
No, he's not. He's a striker.
I told you he weren't.
I can't get over one of these random facts about him. Like, it's mad.
Is he European?
No.
That's a good question, Ollie.
Yeah, that's a question you should have led with, Ollie.
Sometimes,
is he left-footed?
Listen, sometimes the masterpiece it comes together over time.
Right, okay. Is he African?
No.
That was going to be my question, Burf.
Ah, well.
Probably South American then. Well, it could be from like East Asia or something, maybe.
Is he South American?
No.
Ooh.
Down to 14. Do I do it? Because if I say this random fact about him, it won't help you, but I think there's going to be some listeners who will go get it straight away. He's a cousin of Luka Modric.
No, I've heard that before, but I can't remember who it was.
I haven't. This literally threw me.
Luka Modric is his cousin, but
Is
he's
he?
not
Hold
European.
Hold on. Oh, right, okay. Answer me this. Is he Australian?
He is.
I fucking knew it. Who is it? Right, Ollie, come on.
Did you? Oh, I thought you said. I thought you were going to say who is it. I was like,
no,
exactly who it is.
I think I actually have it. I think I actually know who it is.
Chris?
Is it?
Don't say Chris Wood, please. Don't say
Chris Wood.
Yeah, Chris Wood, the well-known Australian.
Well, if your questions, mate, it wouldn't surprise me so far.
I'm gonna go for a guess here. Is it Mark Viduka?
Oh, yes, it is indeed.
Yes, well done.
And funnily enough, I've just gone through his wiki page, and it says here he was a huge Milan fan as a kid, and he grew up watching Van Basten, Rijkaard, and all. It's like, no, Van Basten,
no, Mark, no.
Oh my word! It says here Mark Viduka currently lives in Zagreb, where he owns a coffee shop and enjoys making coffee. What a retirement! Oh, I love that. That's mad. I love that.
How weird is that? Imagine like going to Zagreb on holiday and just walking into a random coffee shop you find and seeing Mark Viduka making your latte.
It says his father Joe immigrated to Australia from Croatia in the 60s. That's why Modric is his cousin. It's cool.
There we go.
Oh, it's amazing. Right, listeners, we're at the end of another episode. Thank you as always for tuning in. Before we go, proud to remind you of our partnership with Head in the Game, mental health charity using football to support wellbeing and community. Check them out at headinthegame.co.uk. Treat yourself well, because we'll be back Friday with reviewing our predictions. It's the best part, and we know Ollie has cooked. 100% he cooked in one category. Chris cooked in a completely different one as well. Oh, I've definitely not cooked because I know where I put Chelsea. That's irrelevant. We'll find out that on Friday. So yeah, till then, that'll be us signing off.
You've been listening to At The Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram by searching for At The Bridge Pod. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, leaving us a review is always appreciated.